Rockler also for letting us use the facility, but also for letting me use this lathe, because that way I didn't have to carry a 125-pound lathe in of my own, and my body thanks you for that. They did make me sign a waiver though, but I forgot to tell you guys that I'm O negative blood type and I'm Baptist. So if anything happens, take it from there. All right. How many of you know Ron Brown? Have you ever heard of Ron Brown? I see a few hands. Okay, he used to do the trade shows over at the fairgrounds. He worked for Peachtree Woodworking, I think it was the name of the company. He started a woodworking club in Lawrenceville, Georgia years ago and grew into this huge club. He's the one that got me started in turning these tops. Now when he does it, you have to look very quickly because if you blink, you missed it. I mean, he literally does them by the 5-gallon bucket full, and then any kids that stop to watch him make a top, then he gives them a free top. Okay, so actually, if you would just start passing these around, and this will be a good example of what I'll be doing tonight.
Okay.
Okay, a little advertising for Rockler. I'll start out with the body of the top. This right around the corner here is a baseball bat blank. Now, you can talk to Bruce, he might can set you up with the actual real baseball bat, but
they're all broken, but
they're all broken, but that's all right, because all you need is the meat of the bat anyway. All right, so baseball bat blank. I cut these in like a slice of bologna. All right, about every 3/4 of an inch. I use a chop saw for that. I don't use a stop block. I just have a mark on the fence of the chop saw. So it works out to roughly $1 for each body, less than that with your discount here. So that's what I start with, 3/4 of an inch. And it's correct in doing this in that the wood grain is running in this direction, and I'll get to that after a while. So you start with a disc, 3/4 of an inch by, I think it's 3, I'm not sure what the dimension
just under
is.
3.
A little over 3?
Just under 3.
Just under 3? 2 3/4 maybe? Anyway, it doesn't matter. All right, so you want to start with this. You want to lock it into your bench vise or whatever. I use a rat tail file, and I file 4 slots in here. Now I'll explain why. You want to drill a 1/2-inch hole first, and then you make the slots. You want to use hardwood dowels. 2 reasons. Number 1, it's going to last longer when kids are spinning this, or adults. And the hardwood will not fit into a 1/2-inch. It's a 1/2-inch dowel and a 1/2-inch hole, but this won't fit in there, which is a good thing. Okay. The reason is, and I'll show you that's the next thing I'm going to show you, is soft wood will fit in there, and then you have to glue it in there. I don't use any glue on this, and I'll show you why. This is a Nova G3 chuck here. What I use, stand that out a little bit. All right. Okay. Lock that in tight. So I'm going to put a point on this. There's different ways of doing this. This is something I recently started doing. And if it looks like I'm a little confused here, it's because I've never used this lathe before. So here we go. I'm going to be turning at about 2,000 RPMs. This is a 1/4 inch spindle gouge. And I've got this tool rest set about, say, 1/4 of an inch below center here, roughly. So you'll see me just sweeping the back of the tool here, a little bit at a time. You don't really want a real sharp point on this. You want it fairly blunt here. You don't want it long and tapered. You don't need that. You want it fairly short. I keep some 120 grit or whatever this is, and I'll sand that just a little bit. And you do not want a needle point on here. You want it to be just a little bit dull. So by doing this method, you're pretty much guaranteed that this is going to be centered. And you'll see why I'm at. Okay, so that's it for that. And then my key is over here. There we go. All right. You don't have to use this same chuck. I brought another one that I have. This is a dowel chuck, but pretty sure you can use. I've never done it, but I just wanted you to see some options. All right, so I got a sharp point. I've got this. The reason I put these slots in here is because if I don't, and I drive this sharp point, can you see that all right? When I drive this sharp point in here, this wood is bigger than the hole, and it's going to expand and you'll crack the wood. So with that slot there, it gives it room to expand. You don't want to drive this very far through. That's about far enough right there. Okay? And notice the wood didn't split. We have to worry about choking hazards and stuff like that with kids, and you don't want them to be able to take this apart. You won't take this apart. It's in there, no glue necessary, and you can move it right along. All right, back in the lathe. These dowels, I cut them. I used to use about a 6-inch long dowel, but with this new process I'm showing you tonight, I can actually get it down to about 4.5 inches. This I torque down a bit because I want it to be nice and steady. Slide the tailstock over. This is your live tailstock. It's live because it has bearings in it. And this is it has a removable tip. Most of them you see have a point. Well, this actually is concave in here, so it works perfect for sliding over there to support that. All right, first thing I'm going to show you, and I'll show you a couple options here, is a couple of ways I'm going to start tapering this towards the pointed end. First tool I'm going to use is just a parting tool. It's very easy to use, safe to use, and for beginners, it's just simpler, okay? So I'm turning at 2,000 RPMs. I want to center this. I want to true up this. There we go. That's better. Pretty well true. I can feel some bumps in it. I'll get down a little bit more. Even though you try to drill as centered as possible, you're not always going to be exactly true on that. So that's what I'm doing here. But you want the top to be balanced. Okay. Now I'm going to true up this edge and this edge. I'm going to go all the way down to the dowel. I angle slightly in with this. Don't need to, but that way it's just a better way of doing it. Just a slight angle in. All the way down down to the dowel. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Same thing, I'm going to angle it in a little bit. I can't, because of the distance right here, I can't take the parting tool all the way down to the dowel on that side, so I got a narrower parting tool here. Okay. Now I'll start angling the body here. You don't want to try and do it all at one time. You want to nibble away at this, all right? Let the tool do the cutting. On the upper part of this, I try to leave, I don't know, 3/16 of an inch, something like that. I'm going to take a little bit more off and show you. Now I've got quite a bit of flat area here, so I'm going to start tapering more. I'm going to leave this part alone. I'm going to keep working that down. You don't have to take it all the way down to the dowel. That's close enough. With this tool, you're going to leave a little rougher surface here. You can sand it if you want. And that's part of what I want to demonstrate to you is the different tools and what effect it has on the wood. Remember, this is end grain that I'm turning here. All right. You can also do the exact same thing that I was just doing. Because of the time, I'm not going to be able to do 3 tops tonight, but I want to show you using this tool. I'm going to just go over it one time, and it'll probably make it a little. This is I think it's a 1/2 inch skew chisel. So that gets it pretty smooth. And I also use this. This is a pretty sharp edge right here. We don't want kids to be dealing with sharp edges or rough edges. So I just come in and you see the shavings. I'm barely taking anything off of that. I'm just shaving it. Flip it over on this side. So that's pretty smooth.
What kind of wood was the baseball bat?
Maple, hard maple.
Birch.
It's not birch, but I'm glad you mentioned that because remember I said we're doing end grain. So you could do what I'm going to show you tonight, and you could cut a circle out of the birch, and you could still do the same thing, but it won't be end grain. What's the importance of that? I'm about to that point that I'm going to show you. Let me just see where I'm at with this. All the way down to there. Okay. On this side next, and I'm not sure if the camera's going to be able to catch the angle on this. Again, referring back to Ron Brown, he came up with his own chatter tool. And you'll know when I use this why they call it a chatter tool. As you looked at the tops that have been passed around, you'll see the pattern that's on the top portion of the top. And this is what creates that. And
Does
it
that
looks
have a
like
wheel on it that spins? Is
No, there is one like that.
Okay,
This one is only good on end grain, that's why I do end grain.
okay.
So this would not work if you use birch. You can still make the top, but you can't do what I'm about to show you.
Rick, hold it up to the camera.
Hold that to the camera, yeah.
Oh, you're gonna have to just put it right there
Right
next
there?
to, yep,
Okay.
right next to your top.
Yeah.
Now, this comes with 3 blades. You can see this one's pointed, and really this is the only one I use. And you want it extended out pretty far. As you adjust it out or in, and then there's a way to lock it, and you want to torque down on this lock because you're gonna put a lot of pressure on this thing. This will vary the pattern. Also, your speed of your lathe varies the pattern. Okay? So, you notice on my chuck here, I've got pieces of red painter's tape or some that I've colored and other colors on here because I'm gonna turn this on an angle here. And my hand's gonna be very close. Can you see in there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. My knuckle is gonna be very close to that. So you don't, at 2,000 RPMs, you don't want your knuckle touching that, okay?
It won't last long.
Yeah,
Once,
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
no,
Matt.
that's
to
all right,
back
I
up.
want questions.
I didn't get to see what you were talking about. Did you say you put some grooves to slide that the peg through?
Yeah,
Where did you put the grooves at? I'm sorry, I did not see.
to do, when I initially,
rest.
when I
Yes.
pounded it,
Yes, before
Okay.
you pounded it, you did some
You
grooves, you
rasp.
said.
all right, with a 1/2-inch hole,
Inside the hole you did with
and
the
then I
rasp?
put 4 slots or grooves in there.
Okay, I'm sorry. But
No,
I didn't
that's all right,
understand
I
what
wanna
you was
make sure
talking
everybody catches each step here. All right. So, get this set up. You want to let this portion of the tool ride on the tool rest. And you want it cantilevered out quite a bit, so
about. It made an angle, but you can't see too
I got the tool rest angled. I'm going to put that point right up against or just slightly below center where the dowel is. That's cantilever a little too much there. And again, I'm not used to this lathe, but right about there. And I'm gonna be pushing with both hands. I'm pushing in and I'm pulling out at the same time. And this takes about 2 seconds to do this. I mean, maybe 3. Okay, so it's very, very quick. As I'm dragging this out, pulling it out and pushing, because it's hard maple, I've got to indent the wood with the pressure that I'm putting on this, and then pull at the same time to create the pattern. And then when you get out almost to the outer edge of this, you want to ease up. Because if you're pushing that hard and you're pulling like this and you come off the edge of this, this is liable to explode a little bit. It's going to break off. Okay?
Is that possible?
Yeah, it's possible. I've done it really only a couple times, but because of having the knowledge, like I just told you, don't carry it all the way out. Stop just a little bit, and that's fine. Okay, so start this back up again. I'm running at 2,000 RPMs. Let me know if you can see this tip. Remember, I don't want my knuckle against there. So I'm going to put the point just below center. I'm not used to this tool list either, so. All right, here we go. Okay. Fairly easy. If you do it and you're not happy with it, you can trim that off and go again. All right, I can't tell by this light how good a job I did, but good enough for now, and I'll do another one before the demo's over. Okay, before I go to shaping the handle, these are called Tombow brand markers. They're excellent. And again, giving credit to Ron Brown. He has he was the one who recommended these. He's tried Sharpie, he's tried lots of different things. And these seem to be the best. I've been using them, one pack of them I've probably been using close to 3 years now. Never replaced it. These are brand new. I just got these at Michael's. I went over there, I had to get something else. And sure enough, they got a display like this wide and this deep of these things. You can buy them individually, you can buy them in different packs. They have primary, secondary, they got grayscale. I mean, I didn't even know they had all that. All right, they're double tipped. You take this portion off. It's a very long tapered tip. That's what I'm going to be using. But if you prefer a duller tip, it's there. Okay. All right, I'm going to get back spinning again. Always back up and go over it if you want. Now, lately I've started coming right over the edge a little bit. Okay? All right. So that makes your pattern stand out. It's different. I think it's pretty cool looking, but it's different than what I achieve on my own lathe. But I don't know why, but difference does it make. All right, now for the shaping of the handle. I'm going to use my 1/4 inch spindle gouge again. Okay, what I'm trying to achieve here to start with is, you can imagine a golf tee, and the head of the golf tee is on here, and then tapering down. That's what I'm going to start out trying to do. I'll come in with this spindle gouge. Just getting rid of this, shaving this down a bit, and then getting rid of that anyway. I don't measure anything. Just needs to be tight right there. And then I want it to, on the end, because of the way it makes it easier to grip when you spin, I want the upper part of this to flare out a little bit. Point of it. I've been doing a lot of this work sideways, now I'm going to use the middle. Now another little decoration thing would be, I take the tip of the skew chisel and somewhere right in about here. And again, I don't measure anything. All I'm doing is putting an indentation. You don't want to cut the handle off, you're just making an indentation on it. And the same thing, right there. And this is what I'm doing with that. But I've got a very thin strip of black walnut. So I want to use that as a part of the decoration. So I find that groove, pushing on it until I see some smoke. And then the same thing with that other tool that I made, until I see some smoke. And that helps me find no extra charge for that, by the way. All right, so now I want to part this off. This takes a little practice, but I'm going to back off on this. If you can see in the video with the camera, there's not much left right here, very little, but this is tracking very, very steady, okay? So, I'm gonna back this up just a little bit. Now I'm gonna come in straight like this, back and forth a little bit, every time I do this, it amazes me how little wood is holding that entire weight of the top. I cut my hand, and this is gonna block you off probably.
Yeah.
You're seeing this. I don't know if there's another way that I
I can,
can do
if
that.
you can just hold on just a second.
All right, I can do it like that. Can you
Yeah,
see?
that'll be good, but let me.
I'm not touching the top, I'm barely touching it. Alright, so then I'm gonna come in and shave this, once I find it starting to cut. Now, see, I'm doing this one-handed here. I'm working without a net, I guess you could say. Alright, now when it gets down, now it's barely holding on with that piece of wood. Like I said, it amazes me. Anyway, all right, now I'm gonna part it off. So once it breaks off, it quits spinning. It's not gonna spin in my hand. All right, so this is usually almost the only part of the sanding that I do is that little piece right there. I don't want any sharp point for kids to hurt themselves with. So there's top number one. So we got time to do another one.
What time is it?
Quarter till.
Yeah.
All right. A little bit different tool.
Can I pass it around? Can I pass it around?
Certainly. All right, this is already prepped, so I'm gonna save quite a bit of time. I'm gonna move faster because a lot of the stuff I'm gonna show is the same
Sir,
thing
can I
we've already
see
seen.
the tool that he made the decorative mark? I want to see what it looks like.
All right, I'm only embedding this about 3/4 of an inch.
Does anybody else want to see it? Okay.
I'd like to see it.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna
Yeah,
repeat.
Rick, you mind if I pass this around real
No.
quick? You'll need it again, I know, but this is
Oh.
your chatter tool.
By the time it goes part way around, I can always call for it when I'm
Okay,
ready.
all right.
All right, so here we go. Now, the reason I want to show you another one, give credit where it's due. I went over to the late Terry Sanchez's house, and he said, bring some tools over and I'll sharpen them for you. Well, this is a standard gouge, 3/4 of an inch, I guess. Had two of them. And putting it on his slow speed grinder, he was a little bit nervous because it's such a shallow angle. He was a little bit nervous that as the sharpening wheel came around, it might pull down. He said, do you mind if I increase the angle there? And I said, yeah, go ahead and do whatever you want. Well, he increased it quite a bit. I don't know if you can see that or not, but where do I need to be? Right there?
Yes, sir.
It should be about a 50-degree angle.
Yeah, well, this is closer to 30, I don't know. I never measured the angle. But in doing this, I was like, I don't know. Well, now I use this probably more than any other tool. It's a wonderful
What is it called?
thing.
Is it a roughing gouge? What is it?
Yeah, I think that's what it's
It's
called.
a spindle roughing gouge.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right.
The first word tells you where it should be used.
right,
Never use it on a bowl.
That's right.
right. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna try to get through this fast. You can see this is way, way out of balance. come back to that. I'm gonna true this up. Believe it or not, I think this is actually spinning, like it needs some glue. After I said what I do. Yep. Well, I came prepared for that. It does happen once in a while. Where's my key there? I got plenty more.
What happened there?
Well, remember I told you to put the slots in there and then you pound that in, it won't slide? Well, it slid.
Maybe the air conditioner.
So you can still glue it. You know, if you're not confident in it, you can still glue it.
They're all the same, but they're all different, huh?
You never know. And I came anticipating being embarrassed tonight, so.
If it's gonna go wrong, it's gonna go wrong in the devil.
I'm an Eagle Scout, by the way, so I be prepared, right? That's nice and smooth. Actually, it's not wobbling at all. 1 in 100. Okay, which is good. All right. So, with use my carving tool here. I'm just going to use this up and down this way, and I'm going to create a line right about where I want to do here. And you'll see why. All right, so I'm going to use this more like a skew chisel than I am a gouge, in the sense that I'm going to turn this on its edge, and I'm going to just shave off a little bit. Starting line right there, sometimes it catches and it messes up the edge. So the voice of experience. You can see the strings coming off from that. For the sake of time, I'm going to stop there. I know you want to see the chatter tool. So I'll get into that. This right here, you can't sand it that smooth hardly. I mean, it's slick. So that's why I do that. Don't have to sand it. All right, so just to be safe, don't adjust the tool rest while it's moving. I won't say what I do at the house. Actually, I do stop it from time to time.
When you remember.
Nah, I mean, because this is dangerous. If it's moving at 2,000 RPMs, you really don't want to mess around with that. And you can do this at 3,000 RPMs if you want. Somewhere about there, let's see what we got. Okay. I'm testing it to make sure that when I pull this out to the edge that it doesn't drop off. And it's not. It's gonna, by the time I get out to here, I'll still be up on top of the tool ribs. All right. So again, I'm pushing in and pulling out. And avoiding my knuckles on. get the best results that I wanted right there. Anyway, so that gives you an idea of what it does. And if you, yeah. All right, you want to call it?
How are we doing on time?
5 minutes to 8.
Okay, that's good.
I can shake the handle one more time if you want to see that.
Well, we've got it on video, so if you
Okay.
couldn't see or whatever, it'll be up on the YouTube channel within the next day or so. And so that's a nice thing about it. You can go back and look at it at your leisure and stuff. Let's give Rick a big hand.
How's that address on YouTube?
It's under Brandon Woodworkers Club.